hardest realizations that I'm having to come to is the fact that some people, not only do they not want your help, but they won't change no matter, even if you did just force them to accept your help. I'm realizing this with my mother. I wanted to talk today about kind of just the journey I've been with my mom over the last couple years. Um, I've I've noticed that she has some bad habits, and out of her three children that are in the state in which she lives in, I'm really the only one kind of pushing her to better herself within these bad habits. Whether it, I'm not gonna go into specifics because they're kind of just gross, but I'm I'm like the only one ever bringing them up, ever addressing them, ever confronting her about them. I'm the only one like putting those issues to the forefront so she can like confront them and we could address them and whatever. Just you know what I mean? I'm the only one kind of pushing her in the direction that she needs to go in order to find improvement. And I'm not really finding any fucking success with it. Like, no matter what I do, no matter which like approach I have within these like whatever I no matter what I do, how unique I try to make it or how whatever, no matter what I do, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And I'm I'm at that point where it's like, why am I even literally why am I trying? Why am I trying? I think at some point we need to realize that the way that we envision life to be for someone just isn't the way they envision their life to be. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's not okay, but at the end of the day, it's not your decision to make. And it's not your life to live. So because of that, we have to just accept what is and move on. I'm trying to convince myself that my mom is just how she is. You know, I used to believe that I could change certain aspects of her, improve certain aspects of her to be to the point in which when she'd be looking to go back into dating, you know, she wouldn't be the same woman that she was when she left my father. You know, I'd imagine I could put her into a position that wouldn't, you know, wouldn't be as like I don't want to say repulsive, but you know, I thought I could put her in a better spot. But the more and more I learn about her and the more and more I experience with her, I realize that this is just how it is. This is just how she is. And you can't really change someone's core being because you think they can change. I've I've noticed that when you try to change someone who just not only doesn't want to be changed, because I imagine she does, but just can't, you know, just can't do it because that's just how they are. Like that's just their baseline. I've noticed that it's literally just a lost cause. You're just wasting time. It's like watering a dead plant. Damage is already done, and you trying to alter its course in any kind of way, it's not gonna change the fact that that's how they are. You can't water a dead plant and imagine it's gonna come back to life, you know? It's all damage is done. Damage is already done. I I feel the same way about my friend. I'm I just took a nap. I got home from work early. I took a nap and I wake up to a message from my sister. If I may read, the U.S. attacked three Iranian nuclear sites, Trump says, joining Israeli air campaign as Tehran promises to retaliate. And my friend is in the military. And I've been trying for so long to tell him to quit and to tell him to just literally pick a different career path, but I know that this is just how he is. And my efforts in order to try to convince him or to change him or to whatever, they're never gonna work. Because at the end of the day, this is just what he is. It's what he does. He does his military stuff because it's a foundational part of his being. You know, he feels that he needs to serve or whatever. Right. And I can't change that. I just have to deal with it and live with it. And trying to it's like yelling at a brick wall, you know? You're they're not it's not that they're not listening. It's like nothing is going to change though. Your efforts are futile because they're not going to change no matter what. No matter what, he's just going to be in the military. No matter what, my mom is just going to be a mess, you know? And there's nothing that I can do with just my words to be able to fix the issues that I see in front of me. The only way to fix these issues is with action that I'm not comfortable taking. You know, they had a conversation with my mom, and it did not go well. It was a whole kind of family ordeal, really. And in that moment, I realized, like, if this is how you act over not only one, a very small incident, but also within the context of like for reference, my brother has been fainting recently, and I've been like holding up. I was having to hold up their body because they fainted. Right? If you're going to lash out at me while I'm literally holding up my brother because they're like fainting and they can't control their body, I genuinely kind of don't feel any. I don't feel like there's any hope left for you. You know, I feel like that's your most lowest point, you know? That's your lowest point right now. To lash out at me over the most selfish fucking ideals while I'm holding up your other child because they fell on the ground, they fucking face planted, and you're still yelling at me instead of focusing on your other child who's unconscious in my arms, you know? It's like there's no work I could do to solve you at this point because you're just going to be the woman you are. If this is how you act in such a dire situation, I frankly there's no hope. And it sucks to have that realization of there's no hope left for you, but it's important to come to terms with that reality, to cut yourself off early and to save yourself the trouble. Because again, some people, as much as you may envision that they need your help or they want your help, and as much as they say they want your help, actions speak louder than words, speak volumes louder than words. And frankly, some people's actions damn near are screaming that they don't want to change, they don't need to change, and the way that they are is just how they are. What I'm trying to say is that some people in your life, you just need to accept what is and either try to build upon that or to cut ties and to just if it's like a cancer, like a negative only impact on your life, it might be time to pull the plug on that. Thank you.